Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warcraft. And boy, do I have something a little special to show you. Although the timing is not great. Oh man. I honestly was thinking, well, this is probably going to be my last chance to do this. At least while it's quote-unquote current, even though it's kind of not anymore. The relevancy of actually getting this now has basically ended, because as we know, this expansion is coming to an end, and we're about to head into the War Within, where it won't be relevant anymore. However, I did still want to get it for a number of reasons, one of which is, of course, I figured this would be good content to show here on the channel. The axe dropped! It figures that one of the very last weeks of this expansion happening, that I get the Legendary Axe Fyralath to drop for me. Now, in case you're wondering, the reason why this took long, it's not like I've been killing Heroic Fyr'alath since that raid opened up. As you guys probably know, I've been maining a Demon Hunter throughout Dragonflight, and I'm going to continue maining a Demon Hunter going forward. So, let's just say that I was kind of dabbling, sometimes on and off, in terms of getting kills in LFR and even normal on my Paladin, my Warrior, and my Death Knight, just to see whether or not I could get lucky enough. Never really happened. I started to kind of try and gear my DK and Paladin up high enough so I could actually get them into heroic pug groups, so I could try and get more attempts at it. It didn't work out for my Warrior because I don't enjoy playing arms. So I didn't really have the means to be a DPS because I didn't have another two-handed weapon good enough to do enough damage output to get into pugs. And when I was comparing the amount of damage I was doing on groups like, when it came to playing on my Paladin, my DK, and my Warrior, I felt like I could get the most out of my Paladin to justify having my character be there in groups to the point where they would not want to consider kicking me for doing low DPS. Because right now, as we know, Ret Paladins are still pretty good. So I was able to do pretty well, not as well as, say, my buddy Carcer in my guild, because in case you guys are wondering, my Paladin is only 509, so she's not, super geared, but she was geared enough to get into heroic pug groups to try and pursue this, because there were still plenty of Paladins, Warriors, and DKs still trying to get this, just even if it's not relevant anymore. It's still, being able to actually have it and being able to, say, get to experience trying to get it. Now, I've been hearing not so great things about what's going to be coming up in terms of what I'm going to need to do to actually get this to happen, but we'll see. I really want to also do this on my Evoker in terms of getting the one from Sarkareth, but I haven't really done that much with my Evoker, so I don't know when that's ever going to happen. But if it ever does happen, I definitely intend to try and show off what I can on this channel, if it's possible, just like I want to show off anything I can here. So, you're probably looking at this going, wait a minute, you have it already, can't you just equip it? Well, so yeah, that happens. You try to equip it, and it does that, and you'll notice it almost killed me. Lay on hands! Back to full health. The Shadow Flame Axe. The moment you attempted to wield Ferox's axe, Fyr'alath, its flames consumed you. Clearly, the weapon's Shadow Flame was too intense. Perhaps you should consult an expert on Shadow Flame and ancient artifacts. Maybe one of the scholars at the Azerothian Archives can deduce a method for handling it safely. Alright. So let's go ahead and put my regular weapon back on. Now, we briefly got to visit the archives when I was checking this out on my main, but I never really did that much with it. But this was kind of part of the purpose as to why it was over here, so that you could also do this quest line here.
According to my notes, there should be some unique artifacts in this area.
So I believe we're going to get a few separate quests that's going to involve me doing some stuff. I basically just want to go ahead and show you guys some of that. Yeah, it looks like you put on, but then it turns out, nope, you can't, because Shadow Flame is so... The last time you picked up Fyr'alath, you burst into Shadow Flame. Maybe you shouldn't try that again until you find a solution for that problem. So the idea here is that we're basically going to have to try and figure out a way how I can wield this without it basically trying to kill me. Now, I've actually assisted, actually trying to do this with a, at least one guildmate, including my raid leader. So, let's see.
I can always find the funds for a new expedition. I am sure I have forgotten more than I've learned at this point in my unlife.
Okay, hold on. What do we have here? How curious. Wait a minute. I can tell... Oh, wait. If you want to wield Fyr'alath safely, you'll need to modify the weapon's haft with 3 components. First, you will need a fireproof hide that can handle intense heat. Next, acquire enchanted vellum that can contain the weapon's volatile magic. Finally, a scribe must apply the proper runes so you can bind the first 2 materials to the axe. My journal over there includes a few recommendations of crafters who can help you. You might also know a few. So, obtain a symbiotic glow spore grip, a rune of shadow binding, and a concentrated sophic vellum. I can hardly believe my eyes. My ingenious plan will unlock its true potential. I can't wait to see it realized. Are you insane? Fyr'alath nearly burned down the Dreaming with that abominable weapon. No one should wield it, ever. No one can tame it. Anything its shadow flame cannot corrupt or destroys. Rathian, if anyone is capable of taming this axe, it's PapaNeeks, our friend and ally. I'm just doubting there's voice acting, but let's see. I'll read in a moment if there isn't any voice acting. Alright, so it looks like there is not. Perhaps there is a way to cleanse the weapon's corruption. Oh, I find that proposition quite dubious. This weapon cannot be purified, but I suspect its shadow flame can be contained. Allow me to reiterate my theory. If we wrapped its haft in enchanted cloth with an efficacious application of the right rituals, and then secured the assistance of an enchanter, a leatherworker, and a master of inscription, I owe you a debt of gratitude, PapaNeeks, so I won't stand in your way. But I insist on watching your progress. So be it. Let's put Edward's theory to the test. So this is the moment where we get the quest here. I know a crafter who could help temper Fyr'alath. Erden of Clan Shakar is extremely resourceful. He's performed many experiments with various regions throughout the Dragon Isles. Hunters are only as good as their weapons. Erden is known for crafting exquisite weaponry with exotic materials. His expertise in various flora and fauna should prove quite informative. I know of a sage who can help temper Fyr'alath. Shalazar Glimmerdusk is an expert in intellectual matters, often pondering theories for controlling volatile magics. Few understand Sophic matters as well as she does. Seek her guidance in managing Shadow Flame. I suspect her solution may include a sprinkle of chromatic dust. Lyderia Whisperfeather is an academic who recognizes the rigidity of the rules that govern our world. She also likes bending them. If there's anyone who can assist in binding Fyr'alath's power, it's her. Well, alright, if you insist. So we now have a few different people to go see. Actually, let's go after this one first. Isn't it great seeing a mount like this using dragon riding? Look at this. We get to see this big mech here flying with dragon riding. This is awesome. I love this.
I can feel the pulse of your world quickening. Soon, all will be drenched in its lifeblood.
Thank you, Xalatath. By the way, in case you guys are wondering, yes, I am planning on making videos about the recent animations that they have done. And, so stay tuned for that. I haven't forgotten them or ignored them. I've just been a little busy, but I fully intend to make videos where we watch them and talk about them. So.
We see the stars once more.
Ah, yes, thank you for making the journey here. Others warned me not to isolate myself from academia, but I knew being sequestered in this remote natural locale would come in handy someday.
Farewell.
I've heard that in the Emerald Dream, a coarse ash with strong properties of Shadow Flame tends to cling to powerful pieces of equipment. The only way to harvest that powerful dust is by disassembling the equipment. Here, use this rod that I've enchanted. It should allow you to siphon off the dust that you need. Collect radiant flecks of ash from powerful pieces of gear throughout the Emerald Dream. That's an interesting quest to do. I am probably going to have to do a bit of research in terms of looking into these. Now, don't worry, there's an entire, Wowhead article and such about how to do this. And I've also been hearing some people talk, I'll have to reach out to some of my guildmates for them to remind me about some of the advice that they were, imparting to others. Like, hey, if you want to do this better or get this done faster, do this. I know someone in our guild, she has 3 of these axes already. Now, in case you're wondering, it's because she's elderly and she's retired, and basically she likes to spend all of her time playing WoW these days in her older period of life. So it's not like she, whatever, if you're going, oh man, does she have a life or something? Look, she has earned the right to just, play nothing but WoW all day. I see. That axe would certainly be painful to wield. Let me think for a moment.
You will find what you...
When Fyr'alath's power is at its limit, you'll need a grip that can cool itself. It is like standing your ground when a beast charges you. As the battle heats up, you need a way to stay focused. Various lilies throughout the Dragon Isles have that cooling property, but I know of something better. Foliage that is routinely exposed to Shadow Flame would be the best choice for binding the components together. Let us gather what you need. Completing objectives in the Shadow Bloom. Ah, this is the one I've been hearing about.
Be prosperous.
So the Shadowed Dreamleaf, I believe I've been hearing from guildmates, is something that you get when you do the Super Bloom event, but you have to do it you have to be able to make sure that you can have it get fully completed done, as in the whole bar for the Super Bloom gets fully completed, which I imagine is going to be much harder for me to do nowadays, considering that we're about to head to a new expansion, and a lot of people are just not going to be doing that. Now, maybe...
The elements themselves are thrown into chaos. Help return the land back to its...
Maybe, if I dedicate enough time over the next couple of weeks before the expansion actually starts, I'll be able to do so. But I honestly don't know. I can hope, but we'll have to wait and see. Or at least I'll have to see. In case you guys are wondering, this is where, I'm probably just going to show you this part, and then this is where, the off-camera busy work for me to actually do the questline is going to happen, okay? I'm just kind of showing you this initial beginning, and then if I get to a point where I can actually, show you some of the other, maybe the finale of the questline, then I'll try and show that. because I need to do a bit of research into the steps I need to do in order to actually pull this off. I'll have to do the same thing when I get the legendary from Fyr'alath for my evoker.
What brings you here?
Why are you in the table? You want to bind Shadowflame? How dangerous! How daring! Let's do it. I've been studying flora in the Emerald Dream. Studying the realm's exotic and dreamlike plants is quite distracting. But I've seen one in particular that could help us find some answers. I've read of a root in the Emerald Dream known for its defensive qualities. It binds its tendrils to powerful foes as a way to protect surrounding flora and fauna. A friendly scribe might be able to help you adapt its properties. If I could just get my hands on some of that root, I'm sure I could dissect its properties and mold it into something capable of harnessing Fyr'alath's power. Here are my notes. You should be able to find powerful creatures guarding patches of wild tether coil. Good hunting.
Goddess watch over you.
Defeating a rare creature while it's active will earn the tether coil. Now, I believe I have heard that one of the things that I'm also going to have to do at some point is that you're supposed to also... There's like another step to this. Alright, so hold on a second. Let me try to... just double check here. Yeah, there's an entire page on Wowhead called the Complete Questline Playthrough. I'm pulling up on my phone rather than showing because, well, it can get a little weird with the ads and I can have some issues here on my PC doing it. Whereas it doesn't seem to give me issues on my phone, so... let's see. So, of course, you get the quests. Leatherworking. Symbiotic Glowspore Grip. Collect 200 Shadowed Dreamleaf, which you guys can see is the quest here. So, while in a Super Bloom, Fyr'alath's holder will receive a Tattered Dreamleaf when used on a party member. They will get the quest Tattered Dreamleaf, requesting them to complete events in the Super Bloom. Once your party member completes this quest, they receive a Restored Dreamleaf, which can be used back on Fyr'alath's holder to increase the rate in which they receive Shadowed Dreamleaf. So I'd have to get a party member to help me out with this, so they can actually, like, increase my rate that I get these. Completing the quest will award the grip, and then the next quest following that is the Handling Dreamleaf Grip. And you receive a scroll that will allow a character with Leatherworking 100 to temporarily learn the recipe for the Dreamleaf Grip. Send them a crafting order for the grip. Now, my Demon Hunter, I believe, has 100 leatherworking. So I think I could just send this to my Demon Hunter and have her do this. It requires 400 glow spores, 3 cobra skins, 5 dreaming essences, and 50 mire slush hides. Now, I think the essences, I either have my own, and considering, here's the thing, if you have been collecting these on your characters, now that we have the Warband Bank, you could put all of them in your Warband Bank, and then have, like I could put all the dream essences I've collected on my characters doing this raid, put it in my Warband Bank, and then my Paladin can access all of those essences from the bank for this. Next, you would need to test the grip. In the next quest to the test, the grip, you must test the grip by grabbing a buff from using it, and then equipping the axe and surviving it. But you will receive a cooling salve to help you withstand the heat, but you can also have a healer pocket heal you to progress this portion of the quest. Now, this I'm familiar with because when our raid leader was doing this quest on his warrior, he asked for a healer to help him out. I hopped on my priest, and we went into a dungeon because he was on a dwarf and I was on a blood elf. We went into a dungeon, and I just switched to holy, and I was just basically spamming heals, all my heals, just to keep him alive to be able to do this. And there are a couple other healers in my guild that I could ask to help me out with this if that came to happen. The next one is enchanting. which is the Sophic Vellum. So it says here that in someone's Twitch stream, they would collect 1 radiant fleck of ash per piece of loot obtained within the dream. It was also discovered that you could do this by using the handguards, Fallen Protector handguards, that you can purchase from the Moon Priestess Lasara at Renown 7 with the Dream Wardens, which means that all you would need... By the way, I believe that means that because all my characters now have full Renown, if they have 100,000 gold, they could each get the thing that we use as a augment rune. Because you basically had to do that on all your characters back in Dragonflight in order to get a chance to actually get it. But now that it's shared amongst all my characters, there's no need. They just need gold for that. But I probably need to save up my gold to expand my tabs for my bank. Anyways. Which means all you need to do is just purchase 20 pieces at 300 supplies each, total 6,000 supplies, to complete this step. Huh. Interesting. So if I have enough supplies, I could just buy these to complete that step? Really? Hold on a second. Now, I found out that Dragon Isle supplies are... Wait, they aren't? Hold on a second. I saw this on my Demon Hunter that you could actually transfer this. So, why is it... Oh, wait, hold on. Whoops, messed that up. I thought it was transferable. I could have sworn that this was transferable when I saw it on my Demon Hunter. Am I just wrong on that? Maybe it's only transferable to my Demon Hunter? That's unfortunate. Complete this would award the Vellum, and in the next quest, you receive a scroll that allows a character with Enchanting 100 to temporarily learn the recipe. Send them a crafting order with the following materials. Now, my mage does not have 100 enchanting, I don't think so, but I know a certain mage in our guild who does, and I'm pretty sure has helped do this quest for other people, which requires 150 Awakened Fire, 100 Awakened Earth, 50 Awakened Order, 200 Resonant Crystals. Next up, you would need to test it in the next quest. You will test the Vellum every 5 minutes. You will be able to channel it to use some order magic to stabilize the Shadow Flame and Fyr'alath. Once each channel is done, you will need 10 random awakened elements to finish the cast. Each order will gain 5% of the quest progression. You will need to do this a total of 20 times. I'm going to have to look into how that's done, because that sounds a little confusing. And then the inscription part. He would obtain 1 to 3 radiant flecks of ash from killing rare mobs. In the dream, both rare and rare elite mobs drop them. And then the Shadow Binding Rune, you will receive a scroll with 100 inscription. I know someone else who has that. And this is where the Shadow Flame Essence comes into play. You need 10 of those, along with 250 Cosmic Ink and 50 Runed Wraith Bark. Next up, you will need to test it. You acquire... In the quest to the test rune of Shadow Binding, you are required to kill Gnarlroot, Agira, and Volcross in the raid while under the effects of the rune. This can be done in any difficulty, but using the rune will tether you to these bosses, slowing you down as you're away from either bosses, and having a chance to hinder your mobility every 5 seconds. Complete this step will earn you the attuned rune of Shadow Binding, and complete the inscription portion of the quest. Now, this is the annoying part, because I've seen people try to do this in LFR, and of course, in LFR, they just immediately pull Volcross, so a lot of them don't get the opportunity to actually do that, so that's incredibly annoying. After obtaining the 3 items, you are sent to the Obsidian Throne to meet with the 3 people we just talked to, where you attempt to wield the axe once again, but a presence is still unwilling to let it go. You're then sent into a scenario in Aberrus, where you will need to fight the Echo of Fyr'alath, a challenging fight where you will need to fight with Fyr'alath's lingering presence, including many waves to dodge, shadow adds to kill, and a burning phase to the Echo itself. But once you manage to defeat the Echo of Fyr'alath in this state, you'll receive your deserved reward, the axe. So I think this is what I'm going to probably try and do. I'm going to try and do a lot of these steps off camera, and then when we get to the part where I have all those things, where I have the attuned pieces, and we get to that point where it's like, hey, you have the 3 profession items. Now get ready to go into the scenario in Aberrus. That I'll try and show you guys on camera. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to see what I can do about completing some of these steps on camera. I'm going to reach out to some guildmates to try and remind myself about some things that I can do to try and make this a little easier for myself. And I will see you guys hopefully next time when I actually have the axe. Stay tuned. And I will see you guys next time.